What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another one. Of course, as soon as I get over here, my cats do not want to leave my stuff alone, but that's all right. Hey, I missed you guys. I wanted to say that. Sorry that I was gone for so long. I'm using a different microphone right now, so that's kind of why I'm off the screen, but it should be fine. So if there is any audio problems, I apologize. Here, we'll move this over here so it can see me a little bit better. All right, so as you guys know, today we're going to go over some preseason rankings. I don't really like doing the whole preseason top 25 just because it sets unrealistic standards for teams before they've even proven anything in college. It's a little different in the NFL, but in college especially, you might end up ranking someone in the top 5 and then maybe pushing someone else up higher because they beat someone that was, they were in the top 5, but they're really frauds. So with that being said, I kind of want to get into this very quickly, but to start off, why did we stop doing our preview of the 2023 draft class after the wide receivers? I could have talked about a couple tight ends. I basically tried to do some research for the tackle class, and it ended up taking a long time, just because I could have ended up using someone else's list and just scouted their top 10s and then tried to reorder their list, but I didn't feel like that was I didn't feel like that was honest. And then just using their list, I didn't feel like it was honest, or just putting random people in there not having enough to really talk about also didn't feel honest. I want this to be a genuine experience. I want this to be you guys taking a ride with me as I go on my scouting adventure. As I grow as a scout, I want us to be able to look back at this and say, remember when Joey had Sean Tucker as his number 2 running back. Look how well he's doing and stuff like that. Or he was so high on Zach Charbonnet and Zach Charbonnet didn't do anything. I wanted to be stuff like that. I felt like just taking someone else's rankings and talking about them just to make content. I didn't really feel comfortable doing that. So that's why we stopped that. As well as I have a lot going on with my actual work right now too. So we're pretty busy with that. So I really didn't have much free time as well to scout as much as I wanted. So really this summer, I wanted to scout some more. I didn't really get to. I got to watch some quarterbacks, but I don't have all 22 film right now. So I really didn't get to see what they were reading. So it's more off of ability and stuff like that. So that was hard to do. I got to scout some running backs. That was fun. I'm big into scouting running backs and offensive line. I think that's really fun. So I didn't get to scout as much as I wanted to, but hopefully as we go on through the college season and onto the off season, I'll have a little bit more time and we'll kind of be able to understand who's the main top 200. I want to be able to scout 100 to 150 of them, like full-fledged scouting. But again, right now I could be scouting someone that doesn't come out. And so I want to have a broad spectrum right now and then kind of narrow in as we get closer to the draft season. So that was a long spiel, just kind of saying I missed you guys. I'm back now. College football starts up in just a couple days. Saturday we got our first game, so we'll go ahead and go through that. Some of my games to watch for this weekend, as well as we'll get into the rookies that are doing well in preseason next week. So we'll take all 3 of the preseason games and talk about some rookies that we're impressed with and some that we are not impressed with. So that being said, let's go ahead and get to it. I will share my screen and we will first take a look at my top 25. So, and again, if my cat's walking the screen, sorry about that. All right. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. Now I'll be able to share and have my face on the screen. I was about to do it where my face wasn't showing up and that wouldn't be fun. So, all right, here we go. Sharing the screen. So this is my top 25. So what we're looking at right now at this moment are my bubble team. So right now, these are teams I have interest in, and I really want to watch as the season progresses, but for right now, I just didn't feel comfortable with certain things of putting them in the top 25. A couple that I've seen in the top 25 that I'm not putting in there, Texas. I've seen in other people's top 25. I'm not comfortable with, they just named Quinn Ewers as their QB. Their defense, which Quinn Ewers might be good. I don't know yet. I haven't really seen him. I thought he was a little overrated when he came out, but he could prove me wrong. Of course, they have Bijan Robinson, who's a stud. They've got some guys at wide receiver, but that defense is so bad. I really don't like that defense, and I'm not sure Steve Sarkisian is a good head coach. So I didn't have enough confidence to put them in, but I will keep an eye on them, and in a couple of weeks, we'll go ahead and reevaluate this. I'd say probably wait until after week 3, we can go ahead and readjust some of these. So that was one of the teams. Another team, Tennessee. People were giving Tennessee a lot of hype. They went 7-6 last year. They have an explosive offense. They have a good quarterback who's coming back. I think he's a good quarterback, Hendon Hooker. But again, they I don't really know what else to say other than I don't believe in Heupel. They probably won't be bringing in recruits to help out with the guys they lost this offseason. So I think it's just going to progressively get worse and worse. But I think they can make some noise this year. I just don't see them as a top 25 team. I see them as one of those teams that'll knock off a big team in week 2 or week 3, and everyone's saying, "Oh shoot, look at Tennessee." But that's about it. I don't believe in Tennessee. I don't believe in Texas. I think they're both frauds. Cincinnati's another one. Again, Cincinnati, I liked them last year, and I thought they should get into the college football playoffs. They did, and I thought they played as well as most 4 seeds play in the college football playoffs. But when you lose 2 stud corners, one's a top 10 pick, you lose your quarterback, Desmond Ridder, who we won't talk about it too much right now, but he's looking like probably the best rookie quarterback right now. He's very impressive in preseason. Again, it's preseason, but he's looking good. You lose your stud wide receiver in Alec Pierce, who is a deep threat jump ball guy. You lose your running back, Jerome Ford. You lose Darian Beavers, your linebacker. Like you lose so many pieces. You lost a couple offensive linemen as well. You lose so many pieces. And at a smaller school like that, where it's not like it's UCF, right? Where if they were at UCF, where it's talent all around you, okay, maybe you'll be able to bring some of those guys back. But you're at Ohio, you're at Cincinnati, which is in Ohio, which is almost kind of a dead zone if you don't have a lot of pull. So I love their coach, and I think Luke Fickell's done a great job, and I think they'll be fine. I just am not confident in putting them in my top 25 yet until I see who takes over at quarterback, until I see that defense staying what you would think of a Cincinnati defense staying. So I'm a big fan of the coach. I like the program. I think they're going up, but I'm pressing the brakes a little bit. Last one in this that I want to talk about, you can see the rest of them. South Carolina, I really wanted to put in. I just don't know about their quarterback, Spencer Rattler, yet. I think where Spencer Rattler goes, South Carolina can go. They can easily be. I think with the team they have, and if Spencer Rattler's as good as I think he can be, they're a top 15 team, But right now, I'm hesitant, so I held out, left them out. LSU, I don't have trust in the quarterback. I don't think Brian Kelly's a very good fit there either. So that's why they're out. Okay, now let's move on. We're not going to talk about every single one of these teams, but let's go ahead and move up to our 20 through 25. We'll just go up 5 spots. All right. So coming in at 25, Miami snuck in here. The reason why Miami snuck in here, which I really didn't want to put them in, I just didn't have confidence in any of these other teams to go in front of them. It's because Cameron Harris, their running back, I like him if he's healthy. He's going to be a really good workhorse for them. Their quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke, I think if he progresses, he's going to be probably a top 10 quarterback in college football. And they've got some guys on defense as well. I also like Mario Cristobal. I think he's a good fit for them. So I think he's going to build around that program. I think there's going to be a lot of hype, and it's a down ACC. I think they'll kind of coast through that that schedule a little bit. But again, they're very close to being on the bubble. If after week 1 and week 2 they're not really showing it, I'm fine taking them off. I don't have much stock in them. And again, I think they're one of those teams, even if Tyler Van Dyke's really, really good, which I think he'll be at least decent, I don't really see them moving up very much. So Coastal Carolina, they have Grayson McCall back. And again, that team's just so well run. Obviously, they're up there. Houston's another AAC team. They're the only AAC team I have ranked. Spoilers. Sorry, I didn't mean to show those other two. They're the only AAC team I have ranked. I really like their coach, and I think they have a transfer quarterback that just came in. But they've been speaking good things about them, and they have a really easy schedule as well as a really fierce defense. And that's what I'm going to say for most of these people. If you have a good coach, you have a good defense, you're most likely going to be in the top 25 with this stuff. Penn State, they've got to show me. Sean Clifford's still the quarterback somehow. It's his 8th or 9th year, it feels like. It feels like Sean Clifford's been there forever. He's still there, and that defense hopefully sticks out as well. USC, everyone has USC ranked highly. I think Caleb Williams, a good quarterback. They got the transfer Jordan Addison in from Pitt. And, they have Lincoln Riley. So they have some solid NFL guys on their roster. They just did not have a good coach in Clay Helton last year. So I think USC is going to, I don't want to say surprise people because people have them ranked inside the top 15 right now. I think they're going to be a good team. They might win the Pac-12, and that's going over Oregon, going over Utah, going over I don't know, Washington State. The Pac-12 is not that. I'm missing. So I know I'm missing someone. I just can't think of it. Arizona State. Yeah. UCLA, like there are some decent teams. USC could run that place for the next couple years before they go to the Big Ten, and then Florida in at 20. I know a lot of people are hating on Florida right now, and I am a believer in Anthony Richardson. I'm going to hold by that. I'm a believer in it. That offensive line can be top 15 in the league this year. I think as long as everyone stays healthy, Florida's going to have a really good team, and as long as as he doesn't want to be called that anymore. As long as Anthony Richardson, as long as he stays healthy and he progresses as much as I think he will progress, they're going to do some damage this year. They're not a college football playoff team yet. They're doing damage in the recruiting cycle right now, and they've got a good offensive line. They've got a decent defense as well. The run game is all that I'm concerned with right now, and health. They don't have very many backups, but their starting squad, if you just went through their starters, they've got some NFL guys on there. So, all right, so we'll go through the next 10. We'll go from 20 to 10. There we go, 20 to 9. Perfect, whatever. So I have Ole Miss in there. Even with, I think Jackson Dart is going to be their starting quarterback. I think he's going to be pretty good. That offense is high flying. They've got some good recruits in there as well. Iowa is a big power running team. They've always got good people. Last year they impressed me a lot, and they didn't lose much from that team. Right? Wisconsin, basically the same thing. I think Wisconsin I might have ranked a little too high, but we'll see. Oklahoma State. There we go. Oklahoma State. Spencer Sanders, man. I like Spencer Sanders, but when is he going to take that step? It needs to be this year. It really, really needs to be this year. I have faith in him. I don't know why I do. I say that every single year, but Spencer Sanders, man, I'm in on you. So don't prove me wrong, please. Arkansas, they've got KJ Jefferson back. They lost Treylon Burks. They lost a couple other guys, but KJ Jefferson has to be the man for them to do anything in a really, really tough SEC West. So if KJ Jefferson's the guy, they're going to win some games. They're not going to win Alabama. They're not going to win. They might win Auburn. I was about to say LSU, but LSU's not very good. It's going to be tough for them against Ole Miss. I think they don't play Florida this year, but they play Georgia this year. I think they got a tough schedule, but I think they're good enough. Kentucky needs to do what they've been doing. Will Levis is getting all this hype for Heisman. If Will Levis takes a step up, if Chris Rodriguez stays healthy, the running back Chris Rodriguez stays healthy, doesn't fumble the ball, and they get somebody. It doesn't even have to be one guy. They get 2-3 guys to step up and replace Wan'Dale Robinson's production. This team's going to be really good. This team has heart. Every single year they have heart. They lost a couple guys on defense, but if they get guys to step up into those spots, which I think they will, they have a very good chance to I was going to say compete for the SEC East. They're not going to compete for the SEC East just because of Georgia there, but they have a really good chance of running the tables and getting a good New Year's Six bowl out of it. So we'll see. Oregon, they lost Mario Cristobal as their coach, but they've still got a lot of good guys. I think Dan Lanning is their new head coach, and I kind of like Dan Lanning. We'll see how he runs it. We'll see if he can get in some more recruits. But with the team that they have right now, they should be okay with Noah Sewell and I'm forgetting the defensive end there as well. There's another defensive end, not Kayvon Thibodeau, who just went into the draft. There's another guy. They've got some guys, Travis Dye just left. He transferred out, but they've got some running backs behind him. And Anthony Brown was their quarterback. He's in the NFL now. He actually looked pretty decent the other day for Baltimore, I believe. So if they have a guy that can replace him, again, this team's going to be defense first and running the ball. So again, I have faith in them to at least look decent. And right now they're my number 2 in the Pac-12, and USC is my number 3. Going up to Pitt. Pitt lost Kenny Pickett and Jordan Addison, so everyone's freaking out on them. Just relax. I think they're going to be okay. They brought in Keaton Slovis, who I like. Keaton Slovis. I think he's gonna really. I don't want to say do the same thing that Kenny Pickett did last year, because what Kenny Pickett did last year was amazing, but he might have sort of similar production there. I feel like, excuse me, my nose. Every time I do a podcast, my nose itches, and that's all. I think that he's going to fit in very well into that system, and you're going to see a huge jump out of Keaton Slovis. Texas A&M, they're getting a lot of hype. They had a really good recruiting class last year. They had a pretty decent recruiting class the year before that, and then this year they had a really, really good historic recruiting class. So again, that's 3 back-to-back really good recruiting classes. You brought in a new quarterback as well. You have probably a top 5 explosive running back in Atchin, I think is how you say his name. I apologize. I don't really know how to say his name. Devon Atchin. He's explosive. Again, you've got to do something this year. Texas A&M really, I think they're going to be really good. They've got a bunch of studs everywhere. Everywhere you go, their 1s are studs. Their 2s are studs. This is going to be their year to win every single game except for Alabama, and then still have a chance to make it into the college football playoffs. I think this is their year. But I'm not going to hype them up too much, because every single year it feels like the same thing, and I don't want to keep going back to the well. I don't know about it. Michigan, again, Michigan lost a few key players, but they've refilled pretty well. They lost Hassan Haskins as their running back. He went to the draft. He's at Tennessee now. But Blake Corum is a very, very good running back. I know we talked about him a little bit. He's explosive. He's got good hands. He runs good routes as well, not just out the backfield. You can line him up in the slot and run good routes. I want to see a little more power in his running style, break a couple more tackles be a little more elusive. That's really it. And if he does that, he could be the 4th or 5th running back taken in this draft and end up being an Alvin Kamara type. I really can see that out of him. So where he goes, Cade, McNamara, whoever's going to be the starting quarterback, just feed Blake Corum, man. I want to see him get 5 catches and run the ball 15 times every single game. And that's how you'll win in the Big Ten. It's feed Blake Corum. Simple as that. All right, we will go to our top 5. There we go. All right, so these are 10 through 5 now. And then obviously 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the people that are in the college football playoffs. So number 9's Oklahoma. Again, they lost Lincoln Riley, but they lost Lincoln Riley. They lost Spencer Rattler. They lost Caleb Williams. They lost a couple other guys, but they've got some guys that came in. Dylan Gabriel at quarterback with Jeff Lebby as offensive coordinator. That they fit perfectly for each other. That's the offense he needs to run. That's the reason why why Dylan Gabriel transferred from UCF to Oklahoma. And then they also got Clemson's defensive coordinator at head coach, and so he'll be taking over the defense, I'd assume. So that defense is going to get better. Oklahoma's always had a defense you could just score on at will. I think they're going to be locked down this year, or not locked down, but they're going to be a lot better. And Dylan Gabriel can step in and run this offense. It's going to be an explosive offense in a better Oklahoma defense than what we've seen. So I'm really comfortable saying Oklahoma is really close to fighting for that Big 12 championship. Next, we got NC State. Of course, NC State, they've got Leary at quarterback. They've got a really good squad coming back. I don't really have much else to say other than that they're a good squad, just like they were last year. So I'm not really going to go much more into that, just because I want to get to the second part, and it's already been like 20 minutes, and I didn't want this episode to go so long. Okay, Clemson. Again, everyone forgets last year Clemson went 10-2. Everyone thought it was a huge down year for Clemson. What happened to Clemson? They were 10-2. And the ACC is not a great schedule. And I think DJ Uyunglele is their quarterback who struggled last year. I think he's going to step up this year. I think you see Clemson at the big boys table again. Baylor, you got to give respect to Baylor. Last year, I love their freaking coach, Dave Aranda. And they just play so smart, so physical all the time. I don't have much else to say. I don't even want to talk personnel. I trust Dave Aranda and that coaching staff to bring in guys that fit their scheme and can run what they want to run. Notre Dame, they lost Brian Kelly. He went to LSU. That's fine. Their defensive coordinator, which I feel like an idiot right now because I can't think of his name because I'm just spewing names right now. So that one's kind of escaping me. Dang, I'm not gonna. I'll remember it later, but I apologize for that one. They brought in a new quarterback, and then they also have the quarterback they had. They don't have Jack Cohn. They brought in a quarterback, and then they also have this freshman quarterback who's stepping up too. And so we'll see who wins that. But again, they're a physical team. They don't have Kyron Williams. But honestly, last year I was very impressed with their backup running back. I can't remember his name either, but I was impressed with it. Their defense is going to be shut down defense like it always is, and they're going to play their hearts out for this new head coach that they have, internal guy, Will. I still can't think of it. But that's okay. Yeah, they're gonna play well, and they've got a good squad anyways. So I wanted to give them love by bringing them back up here. All right, going into our number 4 ranked team, Ohio State. So a lot of people have Ohio State ranked number 2, ranked number 3. I've got Ohio State at number 4. They're just on defense. They're just so soft that I think. They've got a bunch of studs. They've got Jackson Smith and the Jigba, the wide receiver. He's one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft class. Actually, I think I have him as my number 1 receiver. They have Marvin Harrison's son, Marvin Harrison Jr., as well at wide receiver. They've got CJ Stroud, who's my QB1 at the moment. They have Oh, of course, they got Travion Henderson as running back, so they've got studs everywhere. The defense is soft as butter, man. Their defense is so soft, as soft as a baby bottom, that I don't believe it'll last for the first couple games, or when they get to the college football playoffs, if they get there, and they're going up against a Georgia, they're going up against an Alabama, they're going up against a Baylor, a Notre Dame, a Clemson, a Texas A&M, whoever they're going up against. I don't trust it against them. Their defense is so soft, and their offensive line, they've got Paris Johnson, who I really like Paris Johnson, who's going to kick out the tackle. They got DeJuan Jones, I don't remember the guy's name, who's a huge, massive tackle there as well. They've got some guys up front, but I don't know. I don't trust it. I think they're a really talented team, and they could make noise. That's why they're up here. I'm giving them that much respect. I just feel like again, I'm critiquing them. They're number 4. You know what I mean? I'm critiquing them, but they're my 4th team. I don't have them at 7. I don't have them at 8. They're number 4. I've got 3 teams in front of them, and you'll see why. So my number 3 team will go up. It's Utah. Utah is good. They have Cam Rising at quarterback. He's a really good quarterback, I think. He's very talented. You have Tavion Thomas, who, if you haven't heard of him, he's a running back. He's 6'3", 240 pounds, and runs a 4.5. He's not afraid of contact at all. He'll run his shoulder down your throat, pick you back up, carry you on his back on his way to the end zone. He's a beast. The defense is very good as well. And that's really it. They're so physical for a Pac-12 team. They're so physical, but they've got talent of skilled guys around them, where they don't just have to be like a Wisconsin or an Iowa, where we're just going to keep running down your throat. They can run down your throat, then they play action, and they can hit you deep. So they've got a lot around them. I'm very big on them. That's why I've got them at 3. But I won't even get into that. We'll get into that next week when we talk about week 1 matchups. But again, Utah is my number 3 team. I really do like them a lot this year. And again, that Pac-12 schedule is kind of soft, so they might get into college football playoffs, and then they might have a rude awakening. I don't know. I haven't seen them against stuff yet, but I'm just giving them the preseason respect. That's all I'm doing right now. All right, my number 2 team is Georgia, the defending champs. They still have Stetson Bennett at quarterback, and I like Stetson Bennett, but he is very limited. He's just so limited. Your deep threat wide receiver is gone. He's at Alabama now. Your 2 of your defensive tackles are gone. Your defensive end gone, NFL. Linebacker gone, NFL. Other linebacker gone, NFL. Safety gone, NFL. All of these first, second, third round draft picks gone to the NFL. They've still got guys coming in to fill in, and I'm sure they're going to fill in fine. I do trust that their development staff and their recruiting staff, that they're going to find guys and fill them in. But that defense isn't going to be what they were last year. No matter how good these guys are that are filling in, the defense just cannot be as good. That was a historic defense we saw last year with Georgia. And whatever they are this year, it's not going to be the same, which is fine. And that's why they're up here, is because it's still going to be a good defense. But I don't know if Stetson Bennett can take them to the promised land without a defense like they had last year. And you got to remember, they lost to Alabama last year in the SEC championship game. Then Alabama lost their best 2 wide receivers. You got George Pickens back. He's gone. So Alabama was out their best 2 receivers last year and still put up a decent fight against Georgia. Georgia still won. Good for them. I don't think it'll be that easy next year. So, of course, my number 1's Alabama. Last year was a down year for Alabama. They made it to the freaking SEC championship game, won it. They made it to the national championship game, and they were in the game until the last 5 minutes. So, yeah, I think this year Bryce Young's going to look really good. Jermaine Burton's going to look well. They brought in Jamar Gibbs, a transfer running back, is better than Brian Robinson. They brought him in from Georgia Tech. He's going to be a beast. He runs like lightning. He hits like thunder. He's a smaller running back, but he's powerful and he's fast. He's got good hands as well. So again, that defense is going to be good again too. So I have Alabama winning the whole thing. Sorry, I know it's something we say every single year. Alabama's going to win it. Alabama's going to win it. I think Alabama's a really good team this year. And I think I really do think this top 7, anyone can win it from the top 7. After that, from 8 to 15, that's that next group of teams that could show something and could step up. And then, 16 to, a 16 all the way down to 35 is just literally anyone can be in there. That's anyone's game. So I wanted to show that. So I hope you guys like that. I've been working on it a little bit, and again, week 3 we'll go ahead and change it up a little bit, and we'll reevaluate and talk about it again. So next, I want to go over what I'm going to be doing this Saturday, which is week 0 of the college football week 0 of the college football season. We're getting football back. It's awesome. So here are the games that you should watch, or what I'm going to watch at least, and some of the guys from each team that I'm excited about. So here's week 0's week 0 schedule. So there's Austin Peay versus Western Kentucky. That's a nice game at 12 o'clock Eastern, but every single person needs to be tuning into this Nebraska Northwestern game, 12:30 on Fox. It's in Dublin, Ireland, so everyone's going to be watching it. The crowd's going to be ruckus. The crowd's going to be ruckus for both teams. I think if I had to put money on it, I believe, it's Nebraska minus 13. That's very heavy for a Nebraska team. I think Nebraska's going to win it, but I'm going Northwestern with the point spread plus 13. You just got to stay within 2 touchdowns. I'm taking Northwestern. A couple guys from each team that I wanted to look at. It's basically just a matchup is what I'm going to be looking at. So it's Northwestern's tackle, Peter Skoronski. A lot of people have him as tackle 1. I do like him. I think he's pretty solid from what I've seen. I haven't seen too much of him yet, but he's going to be going up. Hopefully they have them lined up against each other. O'Shawn Mathis, he's Nebraska's edge rusher. These are 2 guys I'm really looking forward to watching match up in this game. And it'll kind of give us a better look at both of them and see what kind of how they play against quality opponents. So that's really all I'm taking away from the Nebraska Northwestern game. I want to watch that matchup every once in a while, but I really just want to watch a fun game. That's kicking me back off into college football season. So I'm not going to do a deep dive into a lot of the players on that team. I just want to watch that matchup, and I want to watch football again. After that 12:30 kickoff, we'll be getting into a later game. So there's Idaho State versus UNLV. I might have that on for a little bit. UConn versus Utah State. Maybe I have that on for a little bit if this game ends early. Wyoming, Illinois. One of these games, once Nebraska Northwestern, once that game's over, if it's over early before the 5 o'clock kickoff of Florida State, Duquesne. I think it's Duquesne is how you say the name. That's one I want to watch. That's the one I'm going to watch. So that's really what I'm waiting for after the Nebraska North Carolina game. I'm really excited. Obviously, Duquesne, I'm sure they've got some good ball players on that team. But really what I'm looking for out of this one is I want to look to see how Jordan Travis, the quarterback for Florida State, looks. The running back, Trey Benson, who's going to be taking over for Jayshon Corbin. And then also wide receiver Micah Pittman, who just transferred there from, I believe he was from Oregon. So it's really those three guys. I want to see what kind of splash they make. I want to see kind of how they run, and see if we can get a look into if they're going to jump out during the season or not. This is kind of if they can do work, or if they can't do work against Duquesne, it might be a long season for them. After that game's over, of course, there's Charlotte, Florida Atlantic, and I think the Florida Atlantic game, I think that team's going to be fun to watch, but that's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for this Florida A&M Rattlers versus North Carolina Tar Heels. Hey, buddy. Yes, thank you, buddy. So in this one, yeah, he messed it up, but that's okay. Yeah, he just put it on the Big 12. We don't want it on the Big 12. We want it on all the FBS. So there we go. All right. So for this game, there's a couple guys from each team I'm really looking at. Of course, UNC has wide receiver Josh Downs. Everyone loves Josh Downs. I really want to see him. I'm excited about him. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a really good receiver, really talented receiver. I'm really excited to see him. They just named a starting quarterback. It was between two guys I wasn't too familiar with, and I don't remember who won, so my apologies, but I'll learn Saturday. Also, their safety, Cameron Kelly. He's a big physical safety who comes down and makes hits, but he's got good ball skills as well. So that's what I'm being told. I'm very excited to just take a look at him and kind of see what he can do against this Florida Atlantic team, who last I checked, I think Florida Atlantic mostly runs a triple option. No, I could be wrong. No, I think they run spread. They just run a lot of read options. Yeah, I believe that's what it is, actually. So, yes. Okay, so they're now Florida A&M, FAMU. They've got a duo of this wide receiver duo that's very electric. I was reading up on them a little bit, and I'm very excited to see what they can do against the Power 5 defense. So it's Jamari Shareed and Xavier Smith. I think they're both 5'7" to 5'10", and both in the 170-pound range. So 5'7", 170 pounds, 5'10", 170 pounds, I think is what they both are listed at. But they're very twitched up athletes, and they make plays. So I'm excited to see it with my own eyes. Again, they might not be NFL guys, but they might sneak onto a squad. They might impress. Some people weren't talking about Jalen Darden. Some people weren't talking about Scotty Miller. Like these are guys who are twitched up, smaller wide receivers that make an NFL roster. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see them, and maybe they're late round gems, All right. After that game, wow, that's 3 games. I feel very tired, but not so fast. We got Pac-12 After Dark, baby. It's back. I love Pac-12 After Dark. This is kind of where I get my it's kind of your last hopes for to go even on your bets for that day. And if you gamble responsibly, please. And if you're not old enough to gamble, good. Don't gamble. I do it with money that I have extra, and I don't keep doubling down. If I lose all my money in week 2, well, I don't have money to gamble the rest of the year. That's kind of how I do it, and it kind of keeps me betting smaller bets, and it keeps me out of financial trouble. So bet responsibly, please, everybody. This 9:00 game, North Texas UTEP, that's going to be an exciting game, and I think I'm going to try to put that on a second TV. But the Nevada New Mexico State game is actually what I'll be watching. If it gets boring, I might go to the Vanderbilt Hawaii game, but I think Nevada New Mexico State's going to be a lot better. So Nevada's got a wide receiver, Jamal Bell, super electric kick returner, punt returner. He also plays wide receiver. I'm very excited to see him. They've got a tackle prospect who's supposed to be really pretty decent, Aaron Frost. So hopefully I'll be able to get to watch him do some reps. But honestly, I'll probably be watching some other guys and maybe record it and go back to it. So they also have their running back, Toa Tao, I think is how you say the name. He's an all-purpose guy. He catches well, and he runs it. And then last but not least, their defensive tackle, Don Peterson, is a name I've been told to look out for. So I don't know what number he is, but I'm going to be looking out for defensive tackle Don Peterson if I'm not sleeping already by this game. I'm hoping I can make it up. Again, it's week 0, so maybe I won't be able to make it up. All right, my batteries on my laptop's about to die, so I just got to finish this up. New Mexico State also has 2 guys that I'm going to be looking at. I do want to look just to see if I can hear their name. It's 2 defensive guys. Donovan King is a defensive end, and linebacker Chris Ojo. So Chris Ojo, if I hear him making a lot of flying all over the field, if I hear them say, that he's making tackles in the backfield and stuff, that's awesome. That stuff I'll write down. But I'm going to stop sharing my screen. That's all I've got for you guys today. Again, welcome back. We're going to try to go to 2, maybe even 3 a week, but I don't want to push it right now. Next week, we're going to have 2 podcasts, though. And then hopefully eventually get up to 3. But for right now, let's stick with 2. 1 NFL, 1 college. So, again, I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm back, unlike Texas. See you guys. Thank you. Peace.